Yeah. So what was the scene? I mean, this is such a vivid and I guess really vulnerable commentary on kind of what's going on in this world. Have you been in the middle of that world or?
Well, yeah, so I do a lot of content production for influencers. And so people will hire me as their content director, which is actually how I met the executive producer of this film who was on The Bachelor. I got hired to come witness her postpartum tummy cryotherapy and film it on her iPhone for her. And I am fascinated by the world of influencers and how being so public could not feel intimate at all. And really it's those private behind the scenes situations which are so challenging and so hard. And so I was curious what would happen if you made a deal with the devil, but the devil was a soft boy from Brooklyn. And how far would you go to get what you want? And the magical realism of the power of love. Yeah. That way. Yeah. Thank you.
So how did I guess particularly in that final scene, like it's so interesting how it just like goes back and forth with both of them, and I guess actually with your actor, like how did you sort of talk about to him about his own vulnerability or how far to go with it?
Totally. So the goal is that I've been calling it a rom-com that breaks. And so in the first half of the film, it's very different coloring than the second half of the film. It's also very different cinematic styles. For example, we're all handheld the second half. The first half, it's all very bright. My goal is to hit you with every single rom-com trope known to man in that first half. And so by the second half, when you're seeped in, it breaks, you're living with them. It's that fine line, especially with Sam, our actor who played Mac, not to be confused with Rivka, our actress who played Sam. It's very confusing on set. It's that fine line of you need to be rooting for him and you don't want to be grossed out. You have to understand why she would actually be interested in him as well. And that last scene is actually a 7-minute oneer from the moment they enter into the restaurant. It's all handheld with our fabulous DP, Sarah Weldon, who's a festival alum as well. And we go into the closet with them. They're theater actors. They did a 7-minute scene. And then our gaffer and grip team rigged up lighting to change, and our art team rigged up these walls. And so a dolly was slid in, our DP sat underneath, and we practically pulled back at the end. And so the walls extend was all done practically as well.
Wow.
Brag.
Amazing.
Thank you. It was a flex.
That's so cool. So for him, or I don't know if this, I'm sure it did come up, but how invested emotionally do you think he actually was?
I'd like to think that it caught him off guard too. I think that there's something special at the end when he kind of loops her into the thought process of being like, hey, this is actually going to be good for both of us. I think that I also created this to be an independent pilot to spark a season of story that I think can hop between the magical realism and grounded world. And I think that even though he's malicious, I don't know if his intentions are bad.
Cool. So questions from the audience? Yeah.
So I'm curious what the vibe was like. Did you have like an intimacy coordinator?
We 100% had an intimacy coordinator. Her name's Chelsea. She was fabulous. We had a lot of rehearsal. We had a closed set, and basically we shot in 5 days, and one of our, like a whole day basically was shot to that scene to ensure that we got everything that we needed. And I think what was really interesting was that we treated it a lot like dance. And so we choreographed all of it. There were counts to all of it. And there was very little room for improv, which I think was super important. And my goal was that, especially being influencers, I think that oftentimes sex scenes happens where the cameras kind of like pan away to the New York skyline. And what would it look like if I just kind of made you watch for 4 minutes of what happens behind the scenes?
I'm curious in that scene too. It's very so surprising when she pushes away the towel and she's like, I'm good.
Well, it's his boxers. Yeah.
Oh, it's his boxers.
It's his boxers.
Oh, okay, yeah. But she does just kind of, she's like, yeah, I'm good.
Totally, I can take care of it myself.
Yeah,
Definitely. It goes on and she actually reaches for his bed sheets and wipes it off. But I thought that was rude. I don't know.
Who else has a question?
Cool. Oh.
Well, you
Oh,
already
yeah.
kind of answered my question. I really loved the final moment where you're pulling away. I was curious if you were thinking pushing this to a feature length, but you mentioned a series. Are you looking more at like micro dramas, like the vertical scope, or are you seeing this like YouTube web series? Also beautifully done. Everything you were just talking about, you really felt the balance in this. So I just wanted to applaud you for that.
Thank you. I do think something was up with my ProRes, but that's okay. We can talk about it later. My goal is that it gets seen and that it gets eyeballs. And so if that means chopping it up into 30-second clips and putting it online, then like, hell yeah, I want the world to see it. In a dream world, we either raise enough money to shoot all 10 episodes ourselves, or it gets bigger and brighter light of day. I think that at the end, it jumps back into that magical realism side of the world. And so I'm really curious to experiment with the tonal shift throughout the season.
So have you written a whole Bible for it?
I've written a whole Bible. If you want to follow us on Letterboxd or Instagram under Too Romantic, you can support. And hopefully all 10 episodes can see the light of day.
Amazing. I hope
Thank
so.
you.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. Really
And my
amazing.
sister's here, and she was in it. So shout out to my sister.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.